Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
Your listening station.
Hi, I'm Terry Sullivan and welcome to this week's Sticks Radio Show. This week's show is another in the series of Sticks Introducing. Later on in the show we're going to be talking to a young lad from Luton, a gentleman called Ryan Prazer. We'll be talking to him and he'll be playing live for us on the show. That's later on. But first let's play a song from a new album by a band called Barkley, Hart, Sellis and Twang. They come from San Diego in California. They consist of Jeff Barkley, Cameron Hart, that's part of Barkley Hart, and also Eve Sellis and Mark Twang. They're playing in the area. They're coming all the way from California, from San Diego, to play at Tingwick, which is near Buckingham, on Friday the 18th of July. The tickets are £12 and you can book them on 01296 748 268. Now let's play a track from their brand new album. This is just out. Let's play the first track on the album. It's called This Is Home. If we've got time at the end of the show, I'll play another track from the album and also run through where you can see them. Now this is from Barkley, Hart, Sellis and Twang's album. This is called This Is Home.
I've had a good life. I don't regret where I've been. Though I have no desire to go back and do it all again. Things I once wanted don't mean so much to me now. Here in this moment, looking in your eyes, I have no doubt. This is home. This is real, a place I trust, a place I feel. It's innocence, it's who we are. I am reborn in your arms. It's who I am because I know this is home. This is home. The way you touch me, the faithful song of your voice keeps me believing. It echoes through the clashing noise. There were scars on my soul. Somehow you kissed them all away. You are my refuge. This bird will never fly away. This is home. This is real. A place I trust. A place I feel. It's innocence. It's who we are. I am reborn in your arms. It's who I am because I know this is home. You are my refuge. This bird will never fly This is home.
This is home.
This is real.
This is real.
A place I trust.
A place I trust.
A place I feel.
A place I feel.
It's innocence.
It's innocent.
It's who we are.
It's who we are.
I am reborn.
I am reborn.
In your arms.
In your arms.
It's who I am because I know.
'Cause I know
This is home. This is home.
this is home.
This is home.
Oh, this is my home.
Seklo Sounds, your listening station.
Today on the show I have a young lad called Ryan Prazer, 20 years of age, runner-up in the G Casino's talent show this year, and a rising star, a local boy from Luton.
Yeah.
How you doing, Ryan?
I'm alright, mate. Nice to meet
Good. So you're born and bred here in Luton?
you. Yeah. Born and bred. Though for the first 5 years of my life I was in the West Midlands, living there with my mum. But since the age of 6 I've been in Luton, so
It's good. And Luton has a lot to offer, isn't it, musically?
it does. There's so much on a Friday, Saturday night. I'm lucky enough to be quite involved in it. Places like the Castle Tavern, the Enterprise, even the George and the Hat Factory come to me and say, we've got this going on, would you want to come down and help out? And there's always something going on, always. It's brilliant.
Because people who don't know you, you're a singer-songwriter.
Yeah, I'm acoustic guitarist, musician. I've been in a hell of a load of projects, different bands, partnerships, trying to sing with other artists. I've done everything from strip clubs to the museum last week.
Museum?
Yeah.
What, in Luton?
Down Museum, yeah.
Really?
I played a gig. I've been everywhere, done everything, so to speak.
There's not many people who've played in museums, I would think.
Or strip clubs.
Well, yeah, but actually, funnily enough, you'd be surprised. A lot of artists started off in the place in London, the Windmill, when it used to be during the 60s and 70s. I'd never been myself, but a lot of the artists sort of played there, and then suddenly became big stars, big comics,
Yeah.
big musicians, and strip clubs. Have a reputation, but
Yeah, but if they have
to earn a living,
music
don't you?
on, they have music on.
Yeah, you have to earn a living somehow, and it must be hard, especially at your age, trying to find to break through.
Yeah, because I've been on the scene since 2010, done over 400 gigs and been paid for 5 of them.
Paid for 5 of them.
And the most I've been paid for a gig was 50 quid.
50 quid. So you're in the 40% tax bracket now, then, aren't you?
Definitely.
Well, you're hoping to be.
Yeah, so
So do we all.
we'll see.
Yeah. So when did you sort of really? You were born here in Luton. When did you first sort of discover music and think, I'd love to do that?
It was in 2010, the best summer of my life, really, because I did a production called Half a Sixpence with my school. I took over the lead role with 3 weeks to learn the part.
The old Tommy Steele role.
Tommy Steele, yeah. My nan absolutely loves Tommy Steele, and she was like, "You're absolutely amazing!" But yeah, I loved it, and all the people I was in the cast with, I used to go out with them every day. We'd go out, have picnics, we'd go have barbecues at my house, we'd go have dinner together, we'd do everything together. And from there, my best friend at the time, brought his guitar along, and he started playing songs, and we were all singing along, like round circle, campfire, whatever, just singing along to whatever he played. And I thought, oh, I could do that. I've got my guitar upstairs, I've had it for 2 years, not touched it. So I just said to him, teach me a couple of chords so I can play like Knocking on Heaven's Door. And he taught me how to play it, and I stayed there for 2 hours trying to figure out how to play a bloody G chord because I couldn't get my fingers to work. But now it's just developed. I did my first gig with him in December of that year at Bushmead Community Centre. I was just singing at the time, wasn't playing guitar. and from there I just went around all the community centres, doing all the young people festivals, worked my way up from there to do the local pubs, and then kind of had a break from my acoustic stuff because got into a band and then went to university for a month, dropped out and had to pick myself up on my feet. I was actually considering hanging my guitar up for a month. A month ago, sorry, because I'd lost the time for it. Because of where I live, it's hard to make a lot of noise, and I get the urge to play guitar at 1 o'clock in the morning when my brain's shutting down, and I just want to hear some beautiful sounds.
I'm glad you don't live near me anyhow, I'm quite pleased with that one.
Yeah. I've already had 3 noise complaints.
Oh dear. But, so it must be very, not being a musician myself and not being a singer, people pray that I don't sing, it must be very difficult to actually play the guitar and sing at the same time.
That's what people say, but I find it harder now. I can't remember a time when it was easier for me to sing with music than with my guitar, if that makes sense. I can't sing to backing tracks properly. I can do it, but I'd much rather have just my guitar because my body is feeling the rhythm more.
I was going to say, do you feel the music?
Yeah, because I just play for accompaniment. I don't mess about doing crazy solos. I don't try and do tapping, extra complicated stuff. I just play for accompaniment for my voice. And because of that, I work out the natural rhythms of things. And that's a lot of what I'm about, is natural feelings. So that's where it all comes from.
Okay, would you like to give us a song? Are you?
I can give it a try.
We'll give it a try. So what are you going to give us, Ryan?
White Blank Page.
White
Blank Page by Mumford-and-Sons.
Okay.
I'm going to try to.
Can you lie next to her and give her your heart as well as your body? Can you lie next to her and confess your love as well as your folly? Can you kneel before the king and say, I'm clean, but tell me now, where was my fault in loving you with my whole heart? Oh, tell me now, where was my fault in loving you with my whole heart? Her white blank page and a swelling rage, that rage. You did not think when you sent me to the brink. You desired my attention, but denied my affections. So tell me now, where was my fault in loving you with my whole heart? Oh, tell me now, where was my fault in loving you with my whole heart? Lead me to the truth, and I will follow you with my whole life. Oh, lead me
Thank you very much. That's really nice.
Thank you.
Really like that.
MK Flyers Online, the fast and simple way to find any kind of business or service locally. Find us at mkflyersonline.co.uk or download the MK Flyers mobile app from your app store. MK Flyers Online proudly supports Seclo Sounds, community radio for Milton Keynes.
Would you say Mumford & Sons are one of your favourite groups? Musically
Not
influences?
particularly.
Just like that song?
I just like that song, yeah. I go through stages with bands. I'll find someone that I've just discovered and I'll listen to them for days on end. And then whatever songs from that listening period stick with me, I'll probably try learning on my guitar. Depending on what they are. Some songs are like, you can't touch them musically because they're just so out of this world. Depends on what I listen to. But Mumford & Sons, I listened to their album Sigh No More for about 3 weeks on end when it first came out. And that song, White Blank Page, Awake My Soul, and The Cave stuck with me. So I tried learning all three of them, and White Blank Page is the one that stuck. I've done it live a few times, and people have said that the emotion I put into it has often made them cry. So
that's good.
if you can touch people in that way, then it works.
I mean, covers are a tricky thing. I always think covers are a tricky thing to do. You either have to do them very, very differently, or to actually do them exactly the same.
Yeah.
And doing them exactly the same is fraught with danger because of people saying, "Oh, don't sound like Mumford & Sons, don't sound like this, don't sound like that." If you do it very differently, I think it works. It can work really, really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things. But do you write your own stuff as well?
I do write my own stuff as well, yeah.
I hope you're going to give us some of that later on.
Yeah, we'll do.
Later on.
Yeah.
Who would you say are your musical influences then? Who you sort of gets you going as such, if you like, pardon the expression like that?
I've got wristbands on me. I've got 4 wristbands on.
Okay.
Voice Avenue, All We Have Left. They are an acoustic band, originally from the Philippines, based in LA, that sort of started the YouTube craze of putting covers up. They're one of the first bands to do that, and they've grown and grown and grown, and they've toured the world several times. They've played MTV Music Awards, all from just putting videos on YouTube.
It's very powerful medium.
And they've now started their own record label where they've signed other acoustic artists and inspired thousands and thousands of people to pick up guitar, sing and record it, put it on YouTube. That's how I first started as well.
They inspired you?
Yeah, they inspired me massively. In terms of what I listen to, 30 Seconds to Mars, a band, again, from the LA region, who I've been going since 98, actually. They've sort of progressed from original progressive rock / metal, depending who you are. You'd call it metal or rock. And then they've sort of progressed now to just producing this epic music. There's no other way to describe it than it's just big. It has such a feel of freedom and power. Do something called the Digital Summit, where they get all their fans together, the Echelon they're called, and get them to sing certain parts. There's thousands upon thousands of people that listen in, that are there, and they all just sing along to different parts, and they actually put that on their records, and that's what makes it feel so huge, this gigantic just effort from people.
So it's a million people doing karaoke?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just, most of it's just the oohs and ahs, and it's sort of, it creates a landscape. It's almost like a war. Every song is a war, and they have this massive army behind them, and for whatever they're fighting in a particular song. I'm quite into them. Some people would say obsessed, but
Okay.
I don't have the lead singer's face on my phone at all.
You don't? Okay.
No.
Is it a bloke or a...
Jared Leto.
Oh,
yeah.
it's a gentleman.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Okay. And then the final inspiration of mine is a woman named Otep Shemaya. She is very, very dark. She's a musician. She writes metal music. But in her music, in her albums, there are snippets of spoken word poetry that are so dark, so anarchistic and twisted.
Mm-hmm. So she's got a bit of a warped mind, hasn't
She has a
Some
very
people have said
warped
that
mind.
about me, actually,
Yeah.
but never mind, we won't go to that one.
Yeah, but that has inspired me more than anything because I've also read her poetry books and seen her illustrations and follow her activist work. She runs a radio station called Loudmouth Radio, which every time there's a new political debate or something, she goes on it, expresses her views, and she has this following, the tribe, that back her up, that are with her 100%, and it's kind of a mini revolution.
Okay, is she an English lady or
No,
no
in
American?
America,
No
yeah.
American.
Yeah. But she's actually inspired me to write my own poetry book as well, and I've actually got it self-published. I started writing poetry in 2011 because of Otep, and I wrote it under an alias, Sevastra, which backwards means art saves. It's a little thing that comes from one of her
So
pieces.
what did you...
Sevastra.
Okay.
Backwards it just says art saves. I'm actually going to get it tattooed on me. But I took so much inspiration that I wrote some poetry, and going round the scene with local bands, I was quite close with a band called Hazard, a punk band, and they used to have this intro, they used to have this intro to their sets. There was the good, bad and the ugly, and it didn't really make sense. There was no point of it. It was just something for them to get themselves set up on stage without silence. So I said to them one day, can I go on and read a poem? And they go, yeah, go for it. I went up on stage with a bandana over my face, with completely different clothing, and performed this poem. And everyone was drop dead silent while I was spouting about David Cameron, about politics being wrong, about religion being wrong, and just things that really pee me off, so to speak. But in a really twisted, aggressive way that nobody had to know it was me that was thinking it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the thoughts of a handful of people taken and elevated to a higher, more violent level. So there's one poem, Conquest, where a man walks out on the street with nothing but it, and it is hate. He meets a beautician, and the fakeness of the beautician inspires him to take a nail file and remove her. He meets a Jesus lover, not necessarily a priest, but somebody that says, greetings, Jesus saves, and just leaves a pool of blood behind him. He carries on his journey and meets the Prime Minister, and just as that hate builds to this peak, the Prime Minister has holes in his face from being stabbed, and then hate leaves and fear takes over. And at the end of the poem I said, that nail file still in my wrists, they didn't care to take it out of a terrorist. And at the time when I wrote it, I thought, wow, that's gonna pee off quite a few people with the July 7th bombings, with 9/11, with all these different terrorist attacks going on, and this mass of fear. But at the same time, maybe it will make people realise that there are people that are just filled with so much hate about things they can't control, about people they can't control, that the desire to remove them overtakes them sometimes. That's why rebellions happen. That's why terrorism happens, because I'm not saying that is why terrorism happens. I'll probably get caught up on that, like, you don't know what it is.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, aren't they? So
Yeah.
don't worry about that too much.
But that's how those things can happen. Somebody's filled with so much hate against something, and then you don't know. At the end of it, they may experience fear, they may experience regret once they've relinquished all this hate, all this anger, violence. Because I believe that everyone has it in them. It comes from the human instinct for survival. If you've watched the Saw films, you'll know that the human instinct for survival is completely gone, really. There isn't an everyday person that has to experience life-threatening things. They don't have to worry about losing their life every day, unless it's crossing the road or things like that. But even that's so trivial now.
So we've been the wildness has been tamed out of humans.
There's been a conditioning that's happened over so many years, and that, like you say, wildness has just gone. I think violence, aggression and hate in writing are a great way to free the wildness in a human being.
Well, I mean, poetry and sort of songs are, well, basically, songs are only poems to music. With obviously, if you're reading your own poems or whether you're reading somebody else's poems, it's probably a bit like singing somebody else, not somebody else's songs.
Yeah.
I'm not been a musician myself. I say, I'm sort of looking to you for guidance, because you probably know a little bit more about music than I do.
I wouldn't say a lot, but
I'm not, well, definitely not a musician and definitely not a singer. And people pay you to sing, they pay me not to sing.
Yeah, well, because I'm self-taught, there's a lot of people that come up to me and say, "Oh, you know what this is," and I'm like, "No, I don't really."
Yeah, I mean that's quite. I mean, I've seen you perform a couple of times, and it's quite amazing you've actually been self-taught, because it must be very hard. I have a guitar in my house, and it's still in its box.
I mean, so many people learn. They say they're self-taught, but they teach themselves by ear. Now, I've not really had a good ear, because I never really listened to music before 2010. And that might be a surprise to some people because of how into it I am now. But I never really bothered with music until 2010. Listening, playing, singing, any of it. There's people that say, "Oh, I've sung all my life since I was 4." And I'm like, that's nice. I didn't really. But there's also people that have been taught, that have been told, you have to go to music school, you have to go here, you have to learn music theory, you have to learn it all through the books, through the canon, and I never did that.
Do you not think they can teach the raw talent out of people, perhaps?
Yeah, I believe in that completely.
I think
because
of, I mean, I must admit, I'm not a big fan of the X Factor and all this, The Voice and all that thing, but they're like clones.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I can't tell the difference between sort of some of them, between certain bands. I mean, they line them up there, three singers, let them sing, and they might as well be the same guy to me. I mean, maybe that's me, I don't know, but I just don't see anything original. It's the same old, pretty boy or pretty girl singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many, I'm going to get shot for this, middle class parents that force their kids to learn an instrument at a certain age, and because of that they go on to either hate music and get forced to do it anyway, or love music in what I believe is the wrong way. They go about the science of music, the notation, and they take away the feeling, and it's so cold when you get all these orchestras full of excellent musicians who could listen to a song and just play it off the cuff, and then it's just gone. There's no inspiration, there's no improvisation after that. They just, this is what you have to play it.
Yeah, and it's almost like robotic. I mean, I've got this saying, my wife's a very good singer. I say I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But I go out and see people a lot singing, and there are people who can sing a song, people who can sell a song.
Yeah.
And it's the ones that can sell the song
that leave an impact.
That will always do well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to, as you mentioned, load of clubs, pubs and venues in Luton. I mean, they're throughout the 3 counties area. There's hundreds of venues. And obviously the festivals and things like that. There's lots of places where you can hear music and on performances.
Yeah.
And some of them are almost like you get the impression they're going through the motions.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen some very average people. I don't sing myself and don't play any instruments. I'm not tone deaf because I can tell you if somebody's playing badly and I can tell you if they're singing badly. And I've had the pleasure of having it happen a few times. So can we have one of your own songs? Are you up for playing one of your own songs?
Remember it? Yeah.
You remember it? What's this one? What's this one called, Ryan?
Right. This song's called Role Models, and it goes on from, the thing I said about the violent, anarchistic animal coming out of a human, and it talks about all these religious icons who are fake, basically, who don't deserve to be worshipped, who weren't real, in my opinion. In my opinion, I believe the Bible is a complete lie. And I will get shot for that.
Oh.
But
or run over or something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, or stabbed.
So this is one of your original.
Yeah, this is one of my original songs,
songs?
and it's called Role Models.
Okay, Ryan, take it away.
Me, Teresa, she's got money for the poor, but she's a good example of a child. Then there's Noah. He's got his bloody ark. He thinks he's hard, but he's a fool. These are the models we're supposed to take, but I say to you, what happens when these role models are fake? These are the people to believe in, but the footsteps of these role models will fade. They will fade, just like your dreams of being the one. He's Judas, he betrayed your only king, but he's the one that forgave your sin. Hail Joseph, he's got his colored coat, but he'll boast that the world owes him. These are the models we're supposed to take, but I say to you, what happens when these role models are fake? These are the people to believe in, but the footsteps of these role models will fade. They will takes.
Wow, very, very good.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jim Cleland, and every Tuesday between 9am and 12pm on Secular Sounds Radio, you can hear all things MK. We have local news, sport, weather, traffic and travel, and lots of music. I'll be talking to local people about fitness, health, what's going on in Milton Keynes, our diverse community, local businesses, and much more. Join me, Jim Cleland, for all things MK every Tuesday between 9am and 12pm on Secular Sounds Radio.
Talk about role models yourself. Who would you say is your role model?
My role model,
Pretty much.
Otep.
The
Otep Shmoya,
the poet,
the activist that has her own radio station, because she's got a place in every art that I have a place in. She works in film, she works in poetry, music, radio, and she is inspirational in the work she does as well, because it's not just political, she does a lot of work for gay rights, for animal rights, and just generally socially unacceptable things. She just speaks out against them.
I think sometimes people are frightened of that, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, recently David Cameron got into trouble. I know you're not a great fan, but he got into trouble for saying England or the United Kingdom is a Christian country. Well, it always has been.
Yeah, it always has been.
I mean, you can't take that away. It's like saying Adolf Hitler was a German.
Yeah.
You can't take that. And the other thing he got into trouble for recently was he was on about the football shirts. We've got the World Cups just happened a little while ago,
right.
and we bought some. The England shirts were £90 each. The white shirts, the red.
Yeah.
I mean, £90. You know, I mean that's ridiculous, and he got into trouble for that. And I mean, I think sometimes we're conditioned with people to say the correct thing, shall we say? And a lot of people get into trouble for that. And everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
and when you try and take away your own opinion, you formulate others' opinions, and sometimes they're not well represented by you. And when that happens, you're screwed. Because everyone jumps on it like nothing. So David Cameron's told to say something by someone else. He says it's slightly wrong,
and he gets into trouble. I know you can't. I mean, some people can't do right for getting wrong with especially if you're in the public eye.
In high position places.
I think we're very good at building up heroes in this country, and
Just
then suddenly knock them back down again. I mean, there's been classics like Ian Botham. Now, I mean, he was a very famous cricketer. He was the god, and then suddenly
cracking up. Sorry.
And then suddenly he was. They tried to knock him down. They did it with Beckham. They've done it with quite a few. We tend to do it in the UK, and it seems very strange. It seems a strange thing to build them up, knock them down.
It's sort of to do with the media, isn't it?
Well, the media are very naughty. I must admit. That's why I don't get involved in that side of the media.
Yeah.
I find that very tedious. You know, the sort of gossipy side of the media, and it really isn't my thing. Never has been.
I've always had an urge to get a career in journalism, just to try and bring some truth to a paper or something.
I think that's very hard. There's an old saying: the only thing you ever believe in the paper is the price.
Yeah.
Because that's what you've actually paid for it. Because many years ago, the Sun printed the wrong date.
Yeah.
Probably about 20 years ago, I think it was. They did one day. They printed the wrong date. I don't know if they did it deliberately to see if anybody was going.
Right.
But that's the only thing I ever say about journalism. I have my own magazine, and all we do is print the facts. You know, I mean, we talk to people like yourselves, and exactly what they say is what we print. We go and do restaurant reviews, and we print the facts. We don't print. I try not to put my opinion in on it.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult sometimes.
It is. Yeah. There's times on OTEP's radio station and on my radio station where the producers are there, and even though they're supposed to be on your side, the producers are there saying, "Oh, promote this for us, do this for the station," and it's annoying. It's very annoying because you're trying to get on with your project, what you want to do,
and it waters it down a bit.
It waters it down.
I
it drives away people that want to listen. They think, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
So, example, we're doing a rock radio station, Rock Watch, for all the local bands. Go away. My phone keeps quacking up, I apologise. So we had this rock station where there's heavy metal music going on, really heavy, and it's really aggressive. And then in the commercial break, we'd have some prancy,
Cheesy
jingle.
Oh, I've got one of those. Don't worry, you're fine with that.
And all our fans would come and say, "What was that?"
Yeah.
Or Justin Bieber would play. They'd put a video in between because it was streamed online with a video. They'd put a music video in there, and it'd be Justin Bieber or some other teeny pop artist.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? I love it.
Right in the middle of heavy metal, and all our fans were like,
"Oh, what's going on?" I've got this thing. If ever I went back in time, but what I'd like to stop Jedward and Justin Bieber's parents ever meeting.
Yeah.
That would make me happy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Simon Cowell's parents. That
Oh,
was
yeah,
solved a
well,
much bigger issue.
yeah, we get into a lot of trouble with him. He's, he's quite a powerful man. I think that's the trouble. He's a very powerful man in the music business.
Yeah.
And what he says goes. And he gets these guys off X Factor and that, and he nurtures them for a year and then discards them.
Yeah.
And he's used them and abused them. And I
Yeah.
think we're probably going to get into trouble, or I'll be into trouble as well. And I just see
Bring
it.
it on.
That's all right. Well, we do well. And I see these guys coming, and most of them haven't got talent. It's a bit like Britain's Got Talent. The last couple of years, it was won by a Hungarian dance troupe, and the year before that by a dog, which is a worry.
Yeah.
So I call it Britain's Got No Talent, but never mind. You're playing a few dates as well this summer, aren't you? You're
I
playing
am,
one. Is it the Relay for Life, which is at
it's at Stockwood Park in
In
Luton. On the 6th of September, I believe.
6th of September it is,
6th
yes.
of September. This is a little bit of an assumption because every year for the past 3 years I've played it, and the lady who organised it, Nicola, has come to me and said, "Will you play it again for us, please? Because everyone enjoyed your set, and because we're looking for local artists." I don't know when she plans on organising it all, but there's people that have come to me wanting to do the relay with them as well. So I'll be there no matter what, and if push comes to shove, I'll sit on the field with my guitar, with
And
a crowd
play.
of people, and play. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. It'd be like a bit Woodstockish.
Exactly.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
I did that the other week at this festival I went to in Gloucester. I just sat in the middle of a field by a fire, played my guitar, and people flocked to it. It's excellent.
Sounds great. Sounds fabulous. As long as it's not doing the usual summertime weather.
No.
That's great. So, apart from your songwriting and guitar playing, which probably keeps you very, very busy, what other hobbies do you have that you can tell us about, of course?
I don't really have many.
You don't?
Music is
Your
a
hobby.
massive part of my life, and it's not just the playing and singing, it's, like I say, supporting the local scene. I'm very involved with the Castle Tavern. I will DJ there once a month. I will help out behind the bar with the general bar work and that. But when it comes to acts playing as well, I will be there to start the pit, start the mosh pit, or to get people in to see the bands. I will be the one to get the bands the exposure they deserve. I'll be the one to bring the people around and to keep them there. In the past few months they've done Metal to the Masses. It's Battle of the Bands type thing, where the winner gets to play a big open air festival called Bloodstock, where the massive names Slayer, Metallica, Pantera play every year. So one of our local groups gets to go there, and that's an amazing experience for them. So the final was quite recently. I went to it. I was feeling ill, but there was a band on. They were singing their hearts out, playing their hearts out, and nobody was moving for them. They were all being too polite, if you like, and it wasn't like a rock crowd that I've ever seen. They were just standing there with their arms folded, watching this band. And so, for their last song, the lead singer goes, "All I want is a pit. All I want is a pit, mosh pit." So good old Ryan steps in, just looked at one of my mates, just stepped in front of the lead singer, turned around, took my coat off, took my hat off, took my bracelet things off, and just nodded at him, and he goes, "Yes, let's do this." And in 10 minutes, everybody was dancing around, moshing, having a great time. And I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but if no one else does, then I have to. I am a big part of quite a lot of the music scene around here.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, you've sort of mentioned your singing, your songwriting, and you also mentioned your DJing and perhaps a little bit of music promotion almost.
Yeah.
What would you like to be doing in sort of 5 years' time?
5 years' time.
Apart from sunning yourself in Barbados or something like that, on your money you've made.
I'm not a sunny man. I prefer when it's cold. There's only so much you can take off when it's hot, legally. But when it's cold, you can always put more layers on or give someone a cuddle or something. 5 years' time, I will be 25. I see myself dead. No.
But what's your ambition in life?
My ambitions are just to get a following that believe in me, and not just believe in me, that agree with me, with the things I believe in, with not necessarily all of them, with the way I promote myself, with the morals that I have. So the not learning music theory on purpose to see how far I get and flip the bird to all those that forced me, that wanted me to learn it. The whole idea of not needing a manager, self-promotion, getting there on your own, not going on X Factor, etc. Only taking local competitions to pay for music stuff. So, for example, the GC contest, I took that competition again because there's a prize, cash prize. I'm thinking to myself, that's a day in the studio for me. As it was, I didn't get a chance because I lost my job after that. But in 5 years' time, I will be playing music somewhere, and I will have people watching me somewhere, and I will be happy somewhere.
So you've got no thing of being famous or
Not
or
famous.
infamous, perhaps infamous.
Infamous, yeah. if I get in a few fights with some big cheeses, that'd be good. If I were to make it big, I'd see myself as someone that the general public wouldn't like. The lovable rogue sometimes, but also all the big dogs would hate me.
Do you not think people like villains?
So, yeah, they do.
I mean, you look at sort of like soap operas and that, the people who are loved the most are the villains.
Yeah.
And also, to simplify it a bit more, go to Panto, and who do they cheer? And boo at?
Yeah.
The Panto. The villain, always, the bad guy or the bad woman.
I always got told by my drama teacher I'd always get cast as the a-hole, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because that's what people love about me, I guess.
Hey, this is the sort of thing. I mean, I've met you a couple of times before. Well, I'll get you to play another song in a little while. But is there anybody you'd like to play with, whether they're sort of still around now or anybody who's no longer with us? Anybody you think, I'd love to play with them? Because you mentioned knocking on heaven's door a little while ago. Something like Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Would you like to play with Bob Dylan? He's a great guitarist, isn't he?
He is.
Jimi Hendrix?
Never really. No, not Jimi Hendrix.
No, not Jimi.
I'm not a fan. I guess someone simple, really. I mean, there's a young girl called Hannah Trigwell that Boyce Avenue introduced the world to, so to speak. My first gig when I went to see them, she played with them, and it was her first gig in London. And she came out after her set and just joined everyone else, and it was just so simple. She was absolutely beautiful and amazing on stage, captivating with her voice. It's like nothing I've ever heard before. And now I've followed her progress, and she's I've always seen her as a few steps in front of me, like she's going on the same path that I'd like to go on. So Hannah Trigwell would be someone that I'd like to play a gig with. She's now signed by Boyce Avenue's record label, touring with them and getting albums recorded from them. So, yeah, if there was anyone, it would be her.
Should we like to play with her? So.
Yeah, or like my other idols, 30 Seconds to Mars or ATEP, but
like
that's very unlikely. So,
I guess you're on the social media with them, right?
Hi.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. And if anybody was listening now who'd like to have Ryan at their venue,
Yeah, anyone. I will play with anyone.
Yeah. I mean,
It's-
they can always contact me. I mean, the easiest way to get hold of me is to email me at the radio station. It's the Sticks at seclosounds.org. That's the Sticks at seclosounds.org, and I'll contact Ryan and then see if we can sort something out. So if you're looking for a young musician to play in your venue, your club, your pub, your school, anything really. He doesn't even an open field. He doesn't mind where he plays really.
And then if you like what you hear and just want to follow what I'm doing in future, you can just go on facebook.com/Ryan Prazer official. So
Yeah.
that's
good.
all my stuff's on there.
Yeah, and that was what you got. You put some tracks on there, do you?
I put some tracks on there
Okay.
occasionally. The one I'll play in a minute for you is on my SoundCloud.
Okay. And people can find you and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They just need to put. I mean, it's quite easy to find. I put your name in. I found you very
Yeah,
easily, and
yeah.
it's not like John Smith. It's quite should we say an unusual name, isn't it? So
It's quite a funny story about my name. Whatever you do, don't type my surname in with safe search off, because Prazer means pleasure in Portuguese.
okay, so we
So,
we can find all sorts. Yes.
It's
Okay.
very interesting in high school when all your friends are typing in their names like, oh, it's you, and then some very rude images come up when they type in my name. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay, right. We're almost out of time. So what's the last song you're going to give us today?
I'm going to do a mashup of old and new, a little bit of something I like. It's called Frisky Dreams.
Okay.
Mixes two songs that different generations will know, so I'll just let it do the talking.
Okay.
Wait for the traffic to go past. Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world and the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Now some of them wanna use you. Some of them wanna be used by you. Some of them wanna abuse you. And some just wanna be abused. Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and those 7 seas. Everybody looking for something. Some of them wanna use you. Some of them wanna be used by you. Some of them wanna abuse you. And some just wanna be abused. I just can't stop the feeling. It won't seem to go away. So if I hurt your feelings, don't blame it all on me. It's a mashup part. I just can't stop the feeling. Who am I to disagree? So if I hurt your feelings, cause my sweet dreams are made of this now. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. I'm frisky, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. I'm frisky. I just can't stop the feeling. It won't seem to go away. So if I hurt your feeling, please don't blame it all on me.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
For the best travel locations around the globe, book your seat for the John Gwynn Travel Show on Seclo Sounds every Monday at 12 noon. Hear the latest advice and recommendations to help you achieve maximum enjoyment and value from your trip, no matter where you want to go or what you want to do. Also, check out John's travel report as he reveals the things that the travel industry could do better. The John Gwynn Travel Show, Mondays at 12 noon on Seclo Sounds. Check it out before you check in.
There we are. What an interesting and talented young man Ryan Prazer is. Big thank you for him to being my guest on the show this week. I bet you're asking, who have you got on the show next week, Terry? Well, I have none other than the Feelings singer. You may remember the Feeling from the early 2000s. I have Dan Gillespie Sellers. He's the lead singer of The Feeling. He's joining me next week on the show. We're going to be talking about their albums and preparing some tracks from their new album, Boy Cry Wolf. And we're talking about him playing locally and The Feeling playing locally. That's all next week. Anyhow, I've been Terry Sullivan. This has been the Sticks Radio Show. Until next time, it's bye for now. And I leave you with a track from Barkley, Hart, Sellis and Twang's new album. This is called Let's Go Out Drinking. Sounds a great thing. See you next time.
Let's go out drinking tonight. The channels on the TV are using up our lives. So call the babysitter. The kids will be alright. Let's go out drinking tonight. Remember how we used to paint the town before we had our babies, before we settled down, sipping southern whiskey, dancing all night long, young and free and easy, crazy, dumb and strong. So let's go out drinking tonight. The channels on the TV are using up our lives. So call the babysitter. The kids will be alright. Let's go out drinking tonight. We'll sneak around back. You grab a blanket, I'll grab a six-pack, and we'll lay down together and stare up at the starlight. Let's go out drinking tonight. Let's go out drinking tonight. Channels on the TV are using up our lives. So call the babysitter. The kids will be alright. Let's go out drinking. Let's go out drinking. Let's go out drinking tonight.
Join me, Tony Carty, on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. for Soundtracks, a programme of film music.
Are you crazy? The fall will probably kill you.
I'll have what she's having.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Soundtracks is also repeated on Sundays at midnight.
Seclo Sounds is the community radio station for Milton Keynes, producing a variety of programmes covering music, health, business, sports, faith, the arts, entertainment and much more. For more information about our programmes, visit the programme and schedule pages of our website, seclosounds.org, as well as our replay page to hear what these programmes have to offer.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.